Hello and welcome back to High Fell. It's been quite a lot longer than I anticipated to do this next catch up, and to be honest with you, I half expected that, fully expected to have this done and finished. However, I've learnt a lot along the way and come across some interesting information, and so I thought I'd share it with you. And then some of the things I've actually discovered along the way have also meant I've had to get some extra components, so there've been delays in getting hold of bits and talking to people. So what we're looking at here, you'll probably have noticed we've actually got a B4. I'm going to use this to do some tests with, because with having a clip-on body, it's just a lot easier. It's got the cordless motor, so that'll give us the opportunity to share some of this information. Right, now you did see previously that I had got one of the HM7000 Bluetooth decoders plugged in to the loco. It was up in the air actually, if you remember, and there was a reason for that, and that was because it's something I wanted to check. It was running the Hornby Stay Alive, the latest power bank, which is their smaller one, although you might just be able to squeeze it in the cab here, but you would have to chew away some of the moulding in the cab to actually get it all together. So I'm not sure whether that's actually a sensible one, but that all worked fine. And this is really where we're getting to. Now, the first thing I'm going to cover is how I lost a 6-pin decoder. Basically, it overheated. And what I discovered was that where the wires from the motor and the pickups are soldered to the bottom of the PCB, and under the PCB there is no insulation whatsoever. There's no Kapton tape on the bottom of the PCB. There is on the top, but not on the bottom, interestingly. And it was causing it to touch onto the metalwork of the chassis, because to get some weight in, they've used a metal chassis in areas, and that's brilliant. But that contact between there was sufficient to start things circulating around, and it overheated the decoder. Effectively, it would do everything apart from move, so it wiped out the motor drive side of things. Now, yes, technically it was a fault in manufacturing, but I've pulled these apart and doing things in bits and pieces of them. I think it's unreasonable to turn around to Hornby and say, what are you going to do about it? Because I've chopped stuff about in this instance, and that to me doesn't seem right. So I've just learned and taken it on the chin with that one. But I am going to be removing the PCB anyway as part of a revised way of looking at doing the install. The other thing that you'll remember was it was running absolutely fine on the Hornby Stay Alive, but of course that's too big. And that then meant that when I was looking around, I was fully planning on using one of the Trainomatic Nano decoders, and it was not working. And the AE one doesn't work the same. And so I dug into it a little bit more, and essentially, although they have the plugs on and they are configured and work absolutely fine with all of the other HM7000 decoders, Hornby's obviously done something different with the 6-pin. The Trainomatic Nano does not charge in its current form from the HM7000 6-pin decoder. Does not work. I know the setup is perfect because I popped it into an X18 equipped loco and it charged up perfectly, no problems. The other thing I noticed is the AE Stay Alive works, but over a much longer period. It takes between, in my experience, and this is trying 3 different ones of these, it takes it between 2.5 and 3 minutes to get full charge into the caps. If you were to lift the loco, for example, to simulate lack of electrical continuity, after about a minute, you'll notice the motor will literally spin at about 50%. So it's taking quite a long time to get the charge into these. These are a little bit bigger. I think I found a way of tweaking it to get them in and without it taking up all of the space. Just want to try and leave something so that you can see the little flickering firebox light that I'll just get it there, that hopefully that will get installed. Well, it all seems a little bit longer. So first things first, I think one of the essential things to look at is putting some Kapton tape over the top of the motor case and absolutely underneath the PCB. Now, good news is, even if you're not if you don't fancy doing any soldering or anything like that, that's fine. You don't need to. But you just need to undo the little screw there. You can lift everything all up in one. You can pop some Kapton tape. I think that's probably better than insulation tape, because the insulation tape is a little bit thicker, which you might then encounter a problem just in terms of the amount of clearance, because everything is so tight on here. That should solve your problem. And I say I've run this since, and it's been all okay. The plan was to put the Trainomatic controller board here. The great thing with the Trainomatic board is that it's completely component free on the back, so you can pop it onto something like that and you don't have any fear of it arcing out onto anything. However, because it doesn't charge, unfortunately, that idea I've had to knock on the head, which is a shame, because the caps are that little bit smaller, so they take up less room in the cab, and also the PCB perfect size for fitting there, which was hence why I was keen to remove the existing one. So the smallest option that we've got that will work is the AE one, and then in another video I'm going to show you what I've done, and basically it's going to be taking this off, file this board down. There's enough meat on the actual PCB board itself, and then tweak the insulation a little bit on here so that goes in nicely. Good news to report is that I did mention this to AE, and they have, or rather via DCC Concepts, and the wiring and the soldering is vastly improved on what was coming out originally, which is really nice, because it does mean that these now are really nice quality as well. They don't fall apart in your hand. So what you might be wondering, why have I got the B4 there? Well, what I want to show you is the effect of making some alterations to motor control source on this decoder and how it interacts with the coreless motors, and also want to show you the effect of running this without a decoder, without a stay alive. And just for comparison, I know some people don't have access to DCC equipment and they don't have other decoders. I'm going to just pop in a regular, very inexpensive GaugeMaster Ruby 6-pin decoder and show you how the model works with that in. Putting the body on, it's dead easy on these because it's on some little clips, and it means that you can get the extra weight in, so we're getting a reasonable comparison. So first of all, it's going to be a question of showing you the effect of the motor control source alteration. Okay, so we're looking at motor control source, that's CV144. This is the default value 0, and we're going to see what that means in terms of operating the logo. That sounds nice. So, not very good. You'll notice I haven't put the body on. I have actually put the Hornby power bank on, and that's because you can't. I wanted the power bank on so it didn't keep cutting out all the time. So we're going to go back to the locomotive settings, 144, here we go. Tap on there. So this is CV144, and we're now going to change this value to 1. Exit that, back to drive. Effectively what's happening is this is going to tell the running algorithm to go and look at 3 other user definable values. All sounds complicated, but what you need to know is that's the difference it makes. It really quiets it off, and it's much, much smoother. Auto calibration does not set these values. These values are set from doing a decoder reset. It's basically they have some default settings, and you can go in and you can adjust those within the parameters. I'll do a bit more of a cover on it, but the main thing of this is just to say that with these coreless motors, remember that the program that's actually dropped into a decoder is a generic one, and so you can improve them quite a lot by just doing some different things. And it's dead easy to do. You don't even need to go through auto calibrate. It'll just improve the running no end. When you do auto calibration, you can also activate these as well. It's not automatic unless you've actually set that motor control source to 1. It won't actually look at those bits. So that's a little bit confusing because the manual doesn't necessarily say that, but obviously by using it and playing around with things, that's what we've discovered. Okay, so let's look at some decoders. Okay, so I've removed the power bank, and what I'm going to do is pop the body back on, and then I'm going to run this with no stay alive on the HM7000 decoder, and I shall run it both on via the app and also regular DCC, so you can see the difference between the two, if of course there are any. So we're just going to pop that on and then put this onto the layout and run it. So on the layout, and let's just see. Here we go. So this is via Bluetooth. And that's what happens. It's touched once, so there's 6 pickups, 1 on each wheel. And even then, even though some of the wheels are actually still in contact with live rails, it's stopped as it's got to that very small. These are the pico points, which got a tiny plastic frog in there. So, and of course now it's lost a Bluetooth connection, although the app still thinks it's connected. And the really annoying thing is that the only way you can actually get connection back again is either to re-establish the host, which basically turns everything off and back on again, or in some cases actually shut down the app. So this is less than ideal. Now I've turned off the HMDCC app control and I've set it up so it will work via my Dynamis, which is my DCC system. And let's see. Now you'll notice that because we're not waiting for a Bluetooth signal to reconnect, it was able to get itself across that area there. Well, that's really odd because you'd still think there should be enough pickups on this loco to cope. It's got to this one and it stopped. Just to give you an idea, it's still set up, should still be running, but it's not. Let's try a different decoder and see how that affects things. So this is with the GaugeMaster Ruby 6-pin decoder in. Again, no stay alive. Only running it quite slowly, because if you run any loco with pace, then you're not going to be able to see any pickup issues or anything like that, because the momentum will just carry it across any problem areas. But as I say, I don't think this is actually a pickup issue at all, because if it was, this loco would be struggling, and it isn't. So 4 wheels, 4 pickups. Might have said 6 actually, because I was confusing it with the Terrier, which is obviously the loco we're also looking at as well. But there's just no problem. Let's see. Chances are, if anything's going to stop, it'll always stop at the most awkward place to get to as well. And as you can see, that is working absolutely fine. Here's the decoder you've just seen running. That's the GaugeMaster Ruby 6-pin. Ran faultlessly, even across the points. No hesitation at all. No stay alive, and it works. Unfortunately, the 6-pin decoder, the Bluetooth one, is problematic. It does not like going across anything that might cause a fluctuation in the track voltage, or that the decoder sees. So I think there's a sensitivity issue, which was something that we did see on the other decoders as well. What I would strongly recommend is if you have got a Terrier, just pop the screw out from that holds the PCB in place. You don't need to do any soldering or desoldering. You can just pull that up, get something down underneath there to make sure that you're not getting any kind of contact between the components and the metal chassis. Where does that leave us? Well, basically for now, the Bluetooth decoder does seem to work fine, providing it can have a stay alive. Without a stay alive, it's a pig. There's no other way of putting it. Sorry. And the only stay alive that you've got half a chance of getting in the space and powering it up, because it will charge at the moment, is the AE one. So that's the thing that I'll be working on next. Hopefully we'll hear something from Trainomatic. I know Sven's been talking to the guys there and they are looking at a fix. When that could be, if it's at all possible, who knows. My personal feeling is there is something that's at play in the decoder itself, and ultimately that comes down to Hornby, whether they want to do any more development work. I think there is a lot still to be done. I think this has come out too soon. That's my personal opinion, and you can free to disagree, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who will. Right, thank you very much for watching. We will get to the point where we have something, and we will have some kind of sound going for the Terrier. As you can see, there's loads of bits and pieces being going off. I've got all the ideas that I want to do, and I think we've got a plan to do it. I think we can also get something a bit better into the B4. Might be fun to have some sound in that, wouldn't it? So stay tuned to see how that goes. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all those people who subscribe. Apparently it does make things happen, although I don't have any money out of this, things like that. I'm not interested in that, and it reduces the amount of adverts. So that's my take on that. I know a lot of people have been having various sort of spats on YouTube about stuff. I couldn't care less. Hopefully you enjoy watching the videos. Do feel free to share, use information. Happy modelling, and I shall see you on the next video.